Hey everybody, Ellen and I, we're here today in the church offices. I know it looks super fancy, like we have a TV studio, but we're just sitting in the church office, and we wanted to send out a video invite into the 21-day church-wide fast that we're going to start this coming Sunday. So January 10th, Sunday. We're going to set aside 21 days as a church to fast, to pray, and to repent as a body, and just really for the reality that we live in. I don't know about you guys, but I just woke up this morning just not even recognizing the moment that we live in as a country, and the answer in the Bible. When we feel like that is always turn to me. The Lord says, turn to me, look at me, get your reality from me. And so we want to do that over the next 21 days. In November, before Thanksgiving, the COVID rates in Chaffee County really started to skyrocket, and we weren't spared as a church. We had a Sunday service, and within a week, dozens of people that were here tested positive for COVID. It really shook me up. I think it shook our church up, our leaders up, just like, man, we were doing everything right, and we still had an outbreak. And so I think over the last 5 or 6 weeks, we've seen those numbers go down a little bit in Chaffee County, but not to the level that they really need to before we can start gathering again. And so during this time of prayer and fasting, we really are asking God for breakthrough around COVID-19. We want to see breakthrough here in Salida and Chaffee County. We want to see those numbers go down, but also just in our country. My family, my mom, my dad, my sister, and my boys, and my sister's kids, we've all been affected just really personally with, COVID-19 taking my dad from us this year. And so for me, like, this is a time for us I don't want that to be more and more and more people's story. And, it's really not a fun story to have it, but a lot of people in our country right now have a similar story to my family's. And so we're just asking God for breakthrough around that. Also, it's really confusing leading a church during this time. Like, what do we do? How do we do what's right? How do we press in? How do we keep doing what God's asking us to do, but be safe? So we really want to seek God's guidance during this time. How do we reopen? How do we do that wisely, Lord? What's your plan, God, for us reopening? How do we stay connected as a church body? We're really becoming aware that the gigantic need right now is for people to have community, to not be alone, to not be going through this alone. So how do we stay connected and do that well? Also, there are people in need out in our community because they've lost their jobs, or they don't have what they need to get through this time. And so we want creativity about how to reach out, how to stay connected with the community and take the gospel to our community. So those are things we're going to be doing during this 21 days as a church body.
And I think we're also hoping that it can be a personal time of prayer and seeking God for breakthrough in our own lives, in addition to all those corporate asks that we have. If there's spiritual, emotional healing, physical healing that you're needing, or if you feel really stuck in some area of your life, or you have a big decision to make, or something's coming up that's big, this is a great time and a great way to just come before the Lord and keep seeking Him on this during this time.
Yeah, I mean, you might just be in a time where you are entering a new year and you're saying, I want more of the Lord this year. Whenever people were asking that question, I want more of the Lord, I want more relationship with God, often the answer was take time, set aside a time, consecrate it, make it about me, and engage, and I will answer you. And so that's what we're doing as a church body, but also just as individuals during this time. A few things to be aware of as we enter this 21 days. The first thing is we are actually going to have organized times on Zoom that we are doing intercessory prayer sessions. Now, that's different than like prayer ministry at the Salida Vineyard. Like, sometimes we get together to minister to one another, to pray. Ellen tells me she needs prayer. We get some people together. We pray for her. This is a corporate, like we are praying for, through a list of categories for things we're seeking God's guidance on, for things for our country, for our government, for our schools, for people in our lives that need Jesus. Like, we're going to pray specifically. Those will be hosted by a church staff member. Emily will keep doing her Sunday morning one. So starting this Sunday, the Zoom that we normally do on Sunday morning, Emily will start taking you through an intercessory prayer guided session. On Tuesday nights, I will host one at 7 p.m. Wednesday mornings at 8:30 a.m. Scott Sailors is going to host a group, and then Thursday afternoon, lunchtime, noon on the dot, Ellen will host one. We're doing that mainly just because we want as many people to participate as possible. We thought if we gave multiple options, that a large portion of our church could participate at least once. You're more than welcome to jump on to, a couple of them, all of them, if you're one of those radical crazy Jesus people. But, our goal is that everybody does at least one. Also, we realize that during this time, just the idea of a 21-day fast is intimidating. We've put together a guide, and it's pretty comprehensive for you, just with some information on the history, the biblical background of fasting, some medical information, like how should I do this if I have medical issues, those kinds of things. But also just in there we have the actual prayer guide that we'll be using in our Zoom sessions. And the way I envision it is, we would take time by ourselves to work through that prayer guide, and then when we come into the Zoom session, I might get on my Zoom session and say, okay, we're going to pray for these 3, 4, 5 categories tonight. What are you guys hearing from the Lord about those? And then we would jump into the prayer time. So read through that, take some time to digest it. You've got a few days. This is not something where we're asking everybody to fast from food for 21 days. If that's what God's calling you to do, you're more than welcome. But our goal really is for it to be an entry point. Fast from one meal once a week and set aside special time for God. If you can't do that, fast from social media, fast from watching television. The idea is to practice self-denial in some way. So
right, yeah, and we had even a few ideas on how to be creative on that based on your life situation. So I know for me, it'll be a different type of fasting because I always have to provide food for my young kids, and I'm not asking them to fast, nor is that possible. So if I'm going to do that, we're just thinking of creative ways for that might to work. So that might mean I take turns with my husband. He has the meal with them, and I'm able to go on a walk and spend some time in prayer. Or that might look like including my kids. So every night for prayer, we're going to pray on something else that the church is praying on it, and explain to them, depending on their capacity, what this is about and what we're doing. Or we do some sort of other self-denial. Maybe we fast from treats for the week or for the day or something like that. Or you have a simplified meal of just rice and beans, and we talk about hunger around the world. There are a lot of creative ways that we can get people included, or be able to at least juggle and get creative to say, all right, I'm going to take a break for this time for me. Somebody else can help me out with this. The more creative and in community you can do this, the better, we think.
Yeah, I know, like at our house, if we fast from screen time, that is like the highest form of self-denial in our family. So that's really the heart of it, is like we want to intentionally put ourselves in a place where we are taking something away that normally brings us a lot of comfort, maybe good comfort, maybe bad comfort, and dedicate that time to the Lord. So I know for me, I love the news. I love like engaging with what's going on, being informed. And I use social media for that. And so I really feel like the Lord has been telling me during this time, like, to fast from social media. I deleted my Facebook app last week. It only took 3 days to get over the jitters of not having Facebook. And I plan to delete Twitter and not engage news for 21 days. Like, that's going to be hard for me, especially with everything that's going on in our country right now. But I really feel like that will give me an opportunity to invest that time into stuff that I know the Lord wants me to be doing. I'm also going to fast from food one day each week, and really have an intentional set aside time where I'm doing something that, I get to hang out with God all the time. I get to sit here in my office, read my Bible for a living, but I'm going to try to do something outside of that comfort zone, go away, go hang out in the woods, or find some place quiet to go and just be with Jesus. I'm really excited because I think God's going to speak to us. I think he's going to speak to you individually during this time, but I think he's going to really give us some clarity as a church about how to move forward in the midst of this pandemic. So I hope you guys will join us and participate, even if it's just one little thing that you do over the next 3 weeks. We really want to hear your stories.
Yeah.
I think you could email us here. You could email Ellen. You could email me. Mm-hmm. We also would love to do some interviews on video of testimonies that you might have over this 3 weeks on what God's saying, what he's doing, how he maybe brought this to life for you. So be ready to share and let us know, and we want to share those with the church, okay? So see you on Sunday morning, and we'll jump right into this, okay, guys? Love you.